Hi everyone, thanks for joining me again. Now today I've got probably one of my favourite type of subjects, and that's a sort of woodland river scene. But before I start with that one, let me show you the materials that I've used. Now, I was painting from a reference photograph for that one. Now if you're watching on Patreon you'll be able to see the reference photograph. Of the colours I've used ultramarine, lemon yellow, Payne's grey, I didn't use the crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber, light red. They're all Cotman watercolours. Now brushes, I tried to vary it a bit to try and get as many different types of effects as I could. Got a large Ron Ranson hake, got a small Ron Ranson hake, got a little 1/4 inch flat brush, got a small sword liner and a number 3 rigger. And it's £130 Fabriano Watercolour Paper cold pressed. Right then, let's kick this one off. I've just picked up a little bit of old paint in the jar there. I painted for about 3 weeks after my surgery, so this is the first painting I've done for a while. But it's nice to be back at the easel. Probably taking it a little bit slower than what I normally do, although I don't think that would be such a bad thing. I'm going to kick it off. No, I'm not going to use raw sienna. I always use raw sienna. Let's do something different. Let's use a bit of sienna and yellow. Push that in. Mix a bit more of that together still. Let's give it that. So I want to keep going down because there's a few reflections on the bottom. I want to include those. I want to include these sort of sky and background colour in those reflections. So just dipping the tips in just to bring the hairs back together on the hake brush. I'm just mixing a bit of ultramarine in with it. Into some of the darker sections. And what I'm going to do while that's still wet, I've got a new rigger brush. So I've had this rigger brush for a long time now, but it's that worn. It doesn't go back into shape. Look, so it just goes off at right angles and all sorts of stuff. It just looks a bit naff. So it's not the best brush really. I've ordered a new one from it was off Amazon, but I can't remember who the actual merchant was. It was I just ordered the sort of poshest one I could find really. It was like it just said, I think it was Winsor and Newton professional sable number 3 rigger or something it was called. So God knows how many years I've had this one. It's been a while. There's nothing even written on it. Nothing at all. It's totally blank. I think I picked it up from an art store in I mean, if you know Sutton or all, that one in New Ascot by the traffic lights where the big Tesco is. There's an art store there. Normally, to be honest, I use art discounts in Blackpool. They're based, but and just order it online. It used to be 30 quid for free delivery, but I've knocked it up to 50 now. That's normally where I got the paper from. But I'm going to start experimenting more, to be honest. And keep an eye on the new chat page, the art suppliers chat page I've just set up. If you see any bargains or anything, just remember to put put your links in there, and so we can all have a look and try something different, try something new, different papers, brushes, paints. I was watching a Ron Ranson video yesterday, and I noticed he was using a tray like this. It must have been twice as big, and I ordered one ages ago now, and I haven't even opened it. I'll have to get that out now and have a look at it. Right, anyway, I think that's enough faffing about with background trees and whatnot for now. So I'm going to switch back to the hake brush. Get most that water off, and then just dab into some of the same colours I've been using. I'm going to start popping in some background trees. And there's like massive trees I can see. A little bit of reflection as well. Quite a high horizon line on this one. Add a little bit of red there, just to change it up a little bit, a bit more excitement. A few fingernails as well in there. A bit darker, these ones, so I see a little bit of shadow in there. And also, that's not very good, is it? My easel keeps coming back. I am actually getting a new. I'm going to get a new setup. I think my wife's finally given me permission to use the spare bedroom as a studio. I'm gonna get one of them. I'm thinking about getting like a draft table, like what the architects use. I noticed Ron Ranson using it. Like an early Ron Ranson video I watched years and years ago, and he'd got one, and I thought, yeah, that looks nice. And I saw one on the art discount website yesterday. I mean, okay, it's not cheap, but I think it'd work better. It's like a big, it's quite a decent size like that, and it just swivels. You can have it at any angle you want. And I was thinking, obviously primarily watercolour, but you could use it for anything, acrylics or oils. So I'm going to have a look at that now and try and move upstairs. The other problem with that is it's just too hot. It's like, it was 27 degrees yesterday, and it's just absolutely unbearable painting in the conservatory when it's that hot. I like to just go into a little bit of red every now and again, and just add a splash of colour, not too much, just here and there. Also, let's use a different brush as well and just experiment a little bit more. That's one thing I've got to start doing now, just experimenting more, because I'm terrible for staying in my comfort zone. Terrible for it. Just add a bit of colour here and there. A few of these greens, let's just pull some of these colours down as well. See what I'll also do. Another thing I saw someone doing recently, he was talking about, I mean, he was painting cars. He was talking about, they say, work from light to dark, which is subconscious what I always try and do, follow the rules too much. But he says there's no reason why you have to paint from light to dark. You can do it from dark to light as well if you want. You can basically just do it however you want to do it. Now this is something I would never have done before, but let's just stick a bit of blue in the sky. So I'm switching back to the small hake, Ron Ranson hake. I'm just taking a little bit of ultramarine. I'm just going to pop a little bit of blue in there. And I'm just going to reflect that down below as well. Then I'm going to switch back to the sword liner. Bit of red, bit of blue, bit of pretty much anything, just looking for a dark. Might go into that. And I've caught a little bit of that white gouache as well, so this might be interesting the way that affects things. And again, I'm just going to start flicking with a few twigs and branches. And I'm popping reflections down at the same time I'm doing that. Let's do a few more on this side. The good thing about this sword liner, as I say, I am picking up a little bit of that white gouache, but it's just, I'm not what you'd call sort of a purist when it comes to watercolours. I like to just experiment more, so basically I don't particularly care about the fact that I've picked up some white gouache. It does mean I'll get some slightly different effects to what you'd get if I hadn't picked it up. For me, that's all part of the fun. It does come in great, this sword liner, for I'm having to constantly reload the brush like a rigger. Again, now this time let's switch to the this little flat brush I've got, and again I just like take a colour and just add a little burst of it here and there. Often works better with no, I don't need any more red than that. I was going to say darks. I use it for doing my what I call sort of tonal adjustments. A few little dark sections. I'm looking at the reference photo now. I'm looking where are the darks, and I'm just whacking a few in. And there's a bit of land there. That can have a bit of dark treatments. Let's switch back to the small hake. Bit of raw sienna. Now we've got some land down to about there. There's a little bit of green there in the background. It's a green amongst this. Right, so I'm just working out where the actual water, the land and the water meet now. And sort of somewhere Something like that. So we've got some big trees now. I'm looking at these foreground trees now, so I'm thinking let's take a bit of dark, a bit of brown, a bit of red, a bit of blue, just all the dark colours basically. So we've got, there's like something up there like that. There's another one up there. Don't forget the reflections as well. There's a light like now. I've just got to stick the highlights on these. So I'll come back to that in a minute. We've got something right down the middle down there. We've got a big one going up there. So let's just take the sword liner, just a bit of that dark mix. Just had a few things coming off. I think I should do the lights first. I'll just have to give this, hang on, can I take it off while it's damp? Let's try taking it off while it's damp. Or even, what would that work? Just experimenting there, what does this, well, that might work. Just getting the light section. That's going to work for these ones. Dry that. I'll give that a quick dry. I'll just find a clean bit of this tissue. I'm going to use this brush now. I'm not quite sure. It's easy to get to the lighter area with this, doing it this way. Can I find just a little bit of light on that side? This might have worked better actually, these ones, if I'd have done a darker background and scratched them with my finger and done them light. That might have worked out better. I don't know, there's a million ways of doing trees. Something to think about it for next time. Well, I did notice that guy who paints the cars, he had I'm going to get one, it's like a white gel pen, and he just does that for highlights. So I might have a look at that and see how that works. I didn't know if it was cheating because it's not using a brush, but I'm thinking, does it matter at the end of the day? Switching back to this small hake brush. Just got some banks down here. Back to the rigger brush. I'm just going to flick a few things up here and there. If I can get this rigger brush to work. I can't wait for the other ones to come through the post. I wonder if there's anything obvious I've missed now from this painting. If I just have a bit of yellow in there. Sometimes what I do, I just squeeze it straight out from the tube. Just gives it like just a real. Be careful not to overdo it though. Just gives it a little. Just put your finger in there and just scuff it up a little bit. Gives it like a burst of colour. It works well in shadows as well. What these scenes. What always I think looks nice is just put a little fisherman in somewhere. A little fisherman somewhere in the shadows. If you can imagine that it sort of goes around, the water's going around there. I'm thinking if he's just sort of burst of red. So a little reflection. Seems to be just looking down into the water. I think just see if he's got a bite. Just get that sword line out. Shouldn't leave the sword line in the water. Any sort of delicate brushes shouldn't leave in the water for too long. I'll just make like a little bit of brown and blue. Again, imagine some just a few little shadows here and there. Let's use the Ron Ranson brush for this. Let's give that a quick dry. See, what I should do now is, what I'm going to do is just pause the video and I'm just going to go and stand as far back as I can. Just see if the tones are right. I think it just looks a little bit dark. I might just lighten the background a little bit. So I'm just going to take a clean bit of tissue if I can find one. And take a small brush, small Ron Ranson brush. And I'm just going to lighten this a little bit. Lighten little sections up there as well. Just a little bit down there as well. Just to bring a bit of light coming through the thing. The whole thing just looks a bit dull. Does that look any better? If anyone wanted to find out, I'm going to have to go and stand far back again. Well, it's definitely lighter. I might just pop a few little hints of some. I have removed the sort of. If I just lightly just suggest a few. Trees and things in the background. And a touch darker. A hint of something. Don't forget the reflections as well. I think I might just stop at that, I think, before I get too balmy. Just hold it at that. And just take a little bit of red. And then I'm just going to sign it over here, I think. God, brush is terrible. Right, let's stick a mount on that now. Let's see what it looks like. So I hope you enjoy that. That was there's the finished painting. I think lightening that and then just adding that sort of tree line, making it more distinctive and sort of lightening the other region, I think it's definitely helped. Definitely helped. So So now that's what I was working from. So I was wondering, the main thing, would I have been better off just taking these tree out with a hake brush and then just putting some darker on the left, a little bit of light wash, same with the other two main trunks. So in the end I ended up doing them dark and then lightening them. I don't know which way works better, to be honest. You can see on this, and you just put it in dark, and then I could have been more careful putting the light on the right hand side of the trees. So I've tried to stay fairly loyal to the composition. I haven't really changed much. I suppose this main tree down the centre, I didn't really bother with that. I always think it looks better if you've got like a little gap and you can see right into the distance. So you can just see like a sort of general mass of trees going across there. So I've just tried to pick that out by leaving the rest of it empty, this section. Just a little tree line, just a hint of some trunks there done with a rigger brush. Again, reflections down below, just kept very, very subtle. The only thing I added obviously was the fisherman. Just a very, very simple fisherman there sat on the bank casting out. Just a hint of a reflection down below. So the rest of it I haven't really changed a huge amount, if you can see that right. I think the light's shining through the roof, it makes it awkward. That's why I want to change rooms. So during the summer I have to put this tea towel up, because otherwise it just gets ridiculous. And you've just got all the light, the sun shines through there, and when I got the laptop there I can't even see the screen I'm working off very well. This is a big tomato. These are all tomatoes, if you're wondering. Just got 4 tomatoes in that big pot, and then just let them grow out that frame. Hopefully at some point soon we'll be getting a few tomatoes. Anyway, back to the artwork. In the end, I was fairly happy the way it turned out. Like I said, I think it definitely worked better when I lightened the background and made that a bit more distinctive than it was before. So fairly pleased with the one this turned out. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks as always for watching and for your support. Keep posting your own work on the member galleries. Have a go at the watercolour challenge if you want to. And then there's all the other chat pages, the new one I've just done, the art supplies and all the rest of them. So just stay busy, let's try and grow this community. And until next time, keep practicing, happy painting, and I'll see you.